Boo, everybody, and welcome back to the HabWrap. I am your host, Harry Rice. This is the friendliest and funniest podcast for anything and everything Montreal Canadiens. And right off the hop, I'm going to apologize that this is not up when it's usually up. I try to post these right at midnight. I can tell this is going up at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Because over the last hour since the game ended, it was a late start, by the way, it was 8:30. Me and my dad were watching the Blue Jays game against the Seattle Mariners. Now, if you don't know the result of that yet and you want to know, go watch the highlights, find out however you want to find out, and then come back here so I don't spoil it for you. But the Toronto Blue Jays are going to the World Series. Congratulations to them. I'm super pumped. I'm a big Jays guy. I'm more than excited, and I'm really hoping that this doesn't end as badly as I'm kind of thinking it might, considering we are going up against the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are a powerhouse in Major League Baseball. But enough of that. Blue Jays, congrats to them. We're not a Blue Jays podcast. We're not a baseball podcast. We are a hockey podcast. And tonight, the Montreal Canadiens had their 7th game of the year. It's the first of, I believe, 4 or 5 games that are going to be on Amazon Prime for the Monday Night Prime hockey thing. And yeah, it was a decent broadcast. I think they changed it up just a little bit from how they did it last year, which I thought last year's was pretty solid. But yeah, this year's I thought was also, it's one game. It's okay so far. But we played the Buffalo Sabres. That is right. The Buffalo Sabres, the NHL's laughingstock turned team that everyone just feels sorry for. While still being a laughingstock. So, how would this game turn out? Well, quite fun. However, before we talk about anything in regards to the actual game with my notes or the stats, we gotta talk about the lines. The opening lines for the Canadiens were Caulfield, Suzuki, Slafkovsky, Newhook, Kapanen, Demidov, Anderson, Evans, Gallagher, and Bolduc, Veleno back up front. Matheson, Dobson, Struble, Hudson, and Jack-Eye Carrier were on the blue line. Jakub Dobeš gets the start in net for the Habs. As I said last game, they were playing Monty against the Rangers, and I assumed that they were going to give Dobeš this game, and I was correct. Sam Montembeault backs him up, as he's going to need to regain some confidence in himself before the upcoming, I'm pretty sure, back-to-back against the Flames and the Oilers. So hopefully he is able to do that. The opening lines for the Sabres, meanwhile, were Benson, Kulik, Thompson, Doan, that is Josh, not Shane. He is not 50 years old, still playing in the NHL. That is indeed his son, Josh Doan. But Doan, McLeod, Tuck, Zucker, Krebs, Quinn, and Dunn, Kozak, Ostland on the forward group. Byram, Dahlin, Power, Timmins, and Samuelson, Metsa. That is, I believe, Ryan Metsa, that's actually making his NHL debut tonight. Alex Lyon, of course, gets the start. He is having a great start to his season. He looks like he could be a legitimate starter for the Sabres if he keeps this up. And Colton Ellis backs him up with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen still being injured to start the year, unfortunately for the Sabres. So, to start, in the first period, Anderson gets found on a break. But Dahlin is there. Andy has a nice spinorama, and Lyon makes the save. Dahlin has a slapper that gets blocked. Habs go back the other way. Demidov, nice hands. He was not getting stopped. But then there's a good chance for him, and that is stopped. Habs of pressure, some good shots as a Struble, good job keeping a puck in at the line. Newhook also did that a little bit earlier in the same shift. Habs actually led the shots 3-0 6 minutes in. They originally had it as 4-1, but they changed it. They changed it to just be 3-0. So I'm not gonna disagree with Amazon. They probably have the legit stats. Both teams go back and forth. Sabres were not comfortable in their passes early in the game. They got they got into it in the second and the third, but in this first period, they just were not really in the offensive game for some reason. Sabres then get 3 quick stops after a commercial break. Dahlin ends up hitting a crossbar. Habs then get a 3-on-2. Evans has a backhander. The puck is in the crease, and that gets cleared out. But the Canadiens score a moment later. During a line change, Oliver Kapanen gives the Canadiens the 1-0 lead. He is second on the team in goal scoring as Oliver Kapanen. I think it's safe to say he's not getting sent down to Laval this season or getting sent overseas this season. More than likely. Off of a really solid Demidov pass. Great shit there. That's 8:29 into the game from Demidov and Newhook, who gets his second assist of the night. He would not be done. Sabres press. Dobesh has a nice stop as he was alert. Dobesh played probably his best game of the season so far. I know he's only had 3, but he was concentrated. He was focused. He was great at spotting the pucks for the most part. I thought he had a really, really good game, did Jakub Dobesh. There's a Dobson shot from the blue line. Slav screens it just a second too late, so Lyon's able to make the save. Despite the Sabres not being in it, very fast-paced first period. I think to start the game after an offside 5 seconds in, there wasn't a whistle for another 4 or 5 minutes. There's another shift where there's no whistle for, I think, 4 or 5 minutes. Both teams wanted to get the game done with because they started half an hour later. Both teams wanted to go back and watch the Blue Jays game. Habs top line has a good look. There's a shot just wide. Caulfield isn't able to one-touch it. Struble has a shot deflection just wide. Habs then press. Matheson with a bit of a dangerous pass to Suzuki. A dangerous pass, not passed, to Suzuki. There's a quick shot that gets stopped. Tuck gets found on a near break, but a good stick by Matheson to break that up. He then ices the puck as he tries to stretch it for, I'm pretty sure, Suzuki again, actually. The first line presses again, but there's a tricky pass to Slav, who has 2 Sabres covering him. Kulik gets speed on a break. Good stop by Dobesh on the 5-hole. There's a Sabre that comes over and pokes Dobesh. I didn't see who exactly it was, but you don't do that. Slav gets right on top of him. McLeod pulls him off, and Slav just shoves McLeod to the ice. Love to see it. But we do go to 4-on-4 as a result. Slav wasn't in the box, actually. It was... I know it was him, but they showed him on the bench, so I don't know if he was just on the bench beforehand, but yeah. But yeah, either way, actually Slav would be in the box. It was Slav and Zach Metza, so not Ryan Metza, Zach Metza. There's probably a few Sabres fans watching this going that during the lineup went, Harry, it's Zach, not Ryan, and well, there you go. I just corrected myself, so you can edit the comments now and say, "Oh, sorry, Harry, I didn't realize that you called the penalty." But yeah, Slav and Metza. I assume Metza's the one who poked at Dobesh. So yeah, So yeah, it actually would be Slav in the box. There's a good break from Caulfield to Suzuki. He passes it to Matheson, but that shot gets blocked. Hudson and Demidov showcase great edges. They were all over the ice tonight. Hudson and Demidov were some of the most recognizable Canadians on the ice tonight, just in terms of how much they were getting done, how much offensive potential they were showing. They played great tonight, I think, and I can't wait till Demidov's on that first unit for the power play, because that power play is going to be dominating. It's going to be electric instead of completely dormant like it is right now. Hudson and Demidov, great edges, like I said. Hudson has a lane, but just doesn't shoot. That unfortunately will end the 4-on-4. Gallagher has a good puck battle with Dahlin. The shot, the rebound, Anderson can't finish it. Damn it. Sabres in the final minute get a few shots. Matheson ices a puck, which leads to a chance. That would be a theme for some reason all night, was Matheson icing a puck in the final minute. Anderson has a nice hit on Dahlin. He tried to sell it, but there's no call. And at the buzzer, we get a bit of a scrum after, I believe it was Zach Benson pokes at Dobesh with the covered puck. So after the first period, the shots are 14-6 for the Canadiens. They have a 1-0 lead as well. In the second period, Thompson gets hit by Slavkovsky. Some sloppy puck bounces on both teams. Benson has a shot. Good stop by Dobesh. Habs with a rush. Carrier joins the rush. Habs rush as Carrier joins it. That gets stopped by Lyon. Matheson has a one-timer as the Habs press on the Sabres' fourth line. That does get saved. There's a 2-on-1 then the other way as Dobesh makes the save. A comedy of errors for the Sabres as there's a 2-on-1 that gets broken up. Doan breaks his stick on a breakaway or a near break. And then the Habs press. Dahlin's held out for over 2 minutes as Hudson and Demidov continue to put on a show. Great puck control there. Great at anticipating where guys are going to want to poke them at and avoiding it, where guys might try and go for the body and avoiding that. Demidov and Hudson, just shout out to them. And then against the flow of the play, strangely enough, the Sabres score. They tie the game up just like that. Yuri Kulik gets it with a backhand pass, or with a backhand shot that just goes past Dobesh's glove. I'll argue that's one he'll want back. It's an understandable goal, but it's one that Dobesh definitely could have made the save on if he was given just a half second longer. But Kulik scores that one from Zach Benson with his 6th assist of the year already. Zach Benson looking like a pretty good playmaker for the Buffalo Sabres there. Habs then pressed with their top line, but they don't get a shot off. Habs then were starting to fall back defensively. They were not as aggressive as in the first period, especially before the goal in general, really. And then here we go. Gallagher goes in at a puck. Lyon holds it, but not in the crease, behind the net, which you can't do as far as I know. Gallagher gives him a slash, and Samuelson goes after him. We get a little bit of a Donnybrook. No fights, though, unfortunately. But the Habs go to the penalty kill. Gallagher is called for a very stupid slash on Lyon. I get Lyon can't cover it. Doesn't give you a right to poke at it. However, I probably would have done that too if I were in Gallagher's position. So I will not give him a ton of grief, as that's something I would have done if I were in that position. But alas, I wasn't. It was Brendan Gallagher. Sucks he takes that penalty. Sabres set up. There's a good stop on Thompson right in front of the net. Dobesh sticks with him. Sabres end up cycling, but there's a puck given to Kapanen. He clears. Matheson then can't clear. Kapanen breaks the stick, so it's a 5-on-3.5. Sabres press. Dobesh has a nice stop on a Thompson one-timer. Habs would be 1-for-1 on the penalty kill tonight. Don't get used to hearing penalty kill or power play. Sabres then press. Thompson tries to deke out Hudson, but he stays with him the whole way. There's a puck that goes right to Caulfield on a near 2-on-1, but it's just offside. Caulfield holds for a fraction of a second, and Hudson ends up going offside, unfortunately. There's a Sabre that loses a stick. Matheson with a nice deke that sends that dude out of the zone. Bolduc has a shot that's wide. Valeno shoots, but that gets deflected out of play. Sabres have a rush. There's a 3-on-2 pass across to Kulik, and Dobesh with a great stop. Are you used to hearing Dobesh with a great stop yet? Suzuki on a near break gets stopped. Back the other way, there's another chance saved by Dobesh. Anderson gets found on a break. That gets stopped on the backhand. In the final minute, Habs cycle, but they just can't find a good shot. Dahlin comes in on a 1-on-5 as his line mates are changing. He's looking around, and he just can't get a shot off. So the shots, 18-17 for the Canadiens. So the Canadiens only getting off 4 shots in that period, but the Sabres, that's more so because the Sabres, I thought, actually really played a good second period. They did deserve to get back in this one with how they played in the second half after the goal. But this should have been the Canadiens' game. It shouldn't have been in reach for the Sabres after that first period. But after the second period, it being tied is actually very justifiable. A 1-1 tie game after the second period, like I said. In the third period, the fourth line is out in the opening minute. Anderson has a shot, rebound to Evans. Somehow that stays out. At this point, the Habs are getting goal lead. Honestly, it's very much a goalie duel. It's not even just Dobesh is outplaying the Sabres or Lyon is outplaying the Canadiens. It's a goalie duel at this point in the game. There's a puck to Anderson. That's a pad stop from Lyon. Habs top line presses. There's a chance for Slav. He just gets stopped. God damn it. Habs cycle. Dobson joins the rush. And we score. Montreal gets it. By the way, that Kulik goal comes at 6:51 of the second. I forgot to mention that. Juraj Slafkovsky, he puts it home. 2:57 into the third period. That goal is from Dobson and Suzuki. Suzuki, who's at 8 assists on the year. He's looking like a damn good playmaker so far. Slavkovsky, who I mentioned, I think it was 2 games ago, he's going to start getting goals. He's just getting very unlucky. And all of a sudden, he's on a 2-game goal streak. So Yuri Slavkovsky, he buries one early. He looks quite good. He gets a wide open net because Dobson joins it. Nice little deke. And he just kind of sends it in front. Slaps there. Dobson, very ungreedy, does not want to just put that in directly. Gives Slav that goal. Sabres then press, looking to tie it. There's a shot block by Evans. A scramble in front, but the Habs are able to clear that out. Sabres press on a 2-on-1 after Carrier unfortunately breaks a stick on a shot. Zucker comes in. He passes it to Quinn, and a 5-hole stop by Jakub Dobesh right in front. Krebs then has a sucker punch to Bolduc during a scrum. I like Krebs, but that's a bitch move. Habs look to press. They've been solid. Anderson gets hit from behind into the boards. No call. Thankfully, he's fine, but you ideally want the call there. Sabres press off a 1 face-off. Quinn goes 5-hole again. There's a stop there. Right after Struble and Bolduc shove some Sabres away from Dobesh as he holds. Cedric rushes in. He goes to the net. He's tripped up, and it's a delayed penalty. There's a shot right off the crossbar. I'm pretty sure that was Dobson. The horn actually goes in Montreal because they thought that was in, but it's just off the crossbar and out. Regardless, the Canadiens are on the power play as Zach Benson's called for tripping up Cole Caulfield there. And on the power play, Habs cycle. There's a puck that gets to Bolduc, who just fans on it, can't get enough on it. Sabres end up clearing. That ends up in the Habs bench. Habs were actually moving a little bit. There's a Bolduc one-timer that's saved, and it eventually gets cleared. The Habs are 0 for 1 on the power play tonight. Ignore my phone notifications if you hear that. Please and thank you. Thompson has a wrap that's stopped. There's a one-timer by Kulik. That's a great stop for Dobesh. Habs press with the new hook line, and we score. 2-goal lead. Get on the Lane train, baby. It's Lane Hudson with his first of the year. Just a nice little wrister on a drop pass in the slot. He just beats Lyon with 8:22 left. He gets that from Newhook with the only assist there. A 3-1 Habs lead. The Sabres press. Quinn has 2 stops made on him. Dobesh's mask then comes loose. That could have been dangerous. The refs actually didn't notice it until the fans started making a bit of a stink about it. And then the Sabres score on the next play. Tyson Kozak gets his first of the year. I believe that's his 5th career goal. I think he had 4 last year. It's a little bit of a board play. There's a one-timer, rebounded, and the pass gets right to Tyson Kozak. That's a good goal. Just sucks for us. Nothing Dobesh can do on that one. You ideally, I guess, want Kapanen to tie him up a little better, but it's just loses him for a half second, and that's when it goes into the net. Really can't blame Kapanen's defense there. He was actually good at covering Kozak right up again until half second before the goal. So, all of a sudden, it's a 3-2 game. Sabres are right back in it. Sabres press. There's some glove stops. There's a quick shot gloved by Dobesh. Caulfield then with a couple shoulder checks on a Sabre. He smiles to him, basically saying, "What are you going to do? I'm small. You can't go after me." Sabres with a shot. That takes several directions. Dobesh makes a save. Ole chance in Montreal with 6 minutes left. Up by a goal. I don't like that. If you're up by 6, go for it. Up by 1, you're asking for the Sabres to tie the game up. Sabres ice a puck with 5:25. Caulfield then gets in on a sudden 2-on-1 with Slav. The pass across is just poked into line for the stop. Slav with the extra poke. Sabres don't like that, and we get a scrum. Dahlin doesn't want any right after he goes after Slavkovsky's, gives him his back. Thompson comes in. He gets some sucker punches on Slav. They both drop the gloves. Slav wants to go, but you can't fight in the final 5 minutes because it's an automatic suspension if there is an instigator. It should be, I should say. It should be It can be rescinded, but they don't want people fighting in the final 5 minutes of a game. So that's why even though they didn't drop the refs got right in there, because even though they dropped the gloves, I don't know. I wanted to see Slav beat the shit out of Tage Thompson, but unfortunately, the refs just said, hey, we don't want to have to deal with the officials calling us saying, hey, final 5 minutes, what was going on? They just said, hey, we don't want to deal with our bosses, so just please don't fight. And they got right in there. So it's 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. Both Slav and Tage get 2 for roughing. Again, would love to see them fight, because Slav's averaging, a fight a year in his NHL career so far. Sabres press. McLeod has a tip that's slow to get to Dobesh. He does save that. Habs try to press with the top line. There's a near break for Struble. He finds Anderson, passes it, and the shot is held by Line with 2:38. Dahlian has a shot that goes off Byram. He was slow to get up. That's got a sting. Matheson turns it over. There's a good stop by Dobesh. Matheson turns it over again with a minute left. Dobesh then gloves that and holds. Sabres call a timeout with 1:11 left. Matheson ices a puck with 59.6 going for the empty net. He does it again at 51.4. And then, thankfully, the Canadiens score. The Sabres try to press, but it's no good. Suzuki on his knees. He gets it, clears it. Evans with speed gets it and just puts it home with 31 left. Jake Evans with his first point of the year, surprisingly. Suzuki with his 9th assist of the year. Good on him. Sabres do try to press after a Veleno center feed gets cut off, but that's not going to matter. Habs with the win. Final shots would end up being 32-31 for Buffalo, actually. So they actually would take the lead in shots in the final couple minutes. But a 4-2 win for Le Montréal Les Canadiens. My God. Or the Les Canadiens de Montréal. There we go. My apologies. Really fun game. This was exciting to watch. It was close for the most part, even though it really should not have been. Both goalies just played great. I think both teams actually played well. The Canadiens came out great in the first. Sabres came out better in the second, and both teams came out in the third. So I'd say a fairly even game. The Sabres, who of course have looked pretty good in now, at least their last 3 games after they looked like shit in their first couple. Yeah, this is a game where either team could have won it. Thankfully, the Canadiens came out with the win. They are now 5-2-0 on the season. And if I can look at the standings, which I believe they should be updated, and yes, they are. We are now tied for first in the NHL, but realistically, we are first in the NHL. We know the Red Wings are going to lose their next game. But yeah, the Canadiens now 3-1-0 at home to start the season. We're looking like we're going to be pretty solid if we can keep up a stretch like this going. We're now on the road for our next 3. We are doing the Western Canada road trip. Before we get to the stats, I'll give this. We're playing next Wednesday. Not next Wednesday. We next play on Wednesday. 8:30 start time against the Flames. Then against the Oilers, it's 9 p.m. start the next day on Thursday. And then Saturday, it's a regular 7 p.m. start against the Canucks. And then the last game on the road and the last game of the month is the 28th of October, a 10:30 start against the Seattle Kraken. But you know what? Get that swing out of the way right away. I'm completely fine with that, actually. So yeah, that's the games for the rest of the month. And now, let's get into the stats for the Canadiens, and then finally work our way on out of here. This is actually going to be a little bit shorter. It's going to be less than half an hour, which very happy about that personally. Nick Suzuki leads the Montreal Canadiens with a goal, 9 assists for 10 points. Goal Caulfield, 5 goals, 3 assists, 8 points for him. Ivan Demidov and Lane Hudson, each with a goal, 4 assists for 5 points. Brendan Gallagher with 5 assists, good on him. Oliver Kapanen, he's got 4 assists. Zach Bolduc with 3 goals and an assist for 4 points. Mike Matheson, Noah Dobson, and Alex Newhook each with a goal, 3 assists for 4 points. Yuroslavkovsky's got 3 goals. Alex Carrier, Kirby Doc, and Caden Gooley each with a goal and an assist. Jake Evans has a goal. Arbor Jacki, Patrick Laine, Jaden Struble, and Josh Anderson each have an assist this year. Caden Gooley and Arbor Jacki each have a fight this year. So yeah, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of the HabWrap. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're on YouTube. Follow if you're on Spotify or any other place that you can find this podcast. My name is Harry Rice. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, check out the links in the description. That is going to do it again. Thank you all so much for watching. Always remember, no matter how good I'd say we were like last year or how great we are like this year, go Habs go, Adam Royale, and say it with me everybody, Syllaboo!